This is your weekly moment of growth. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Obviously, I have Mark back on the show, and you guys heard us a month ago introduce the Purpose and Movement Mastermind. And so going forward, he's going to be on my show once a month. I'm going to be on his show once a month. And we're going to dive deep on what is this all about? Why is there masterminds? Why do we need to level up? And this episode, we're going to talk about why we even created this. Like, there's so many freaking masterminds. Why are we creating another one? And it's truly a strong purpose, and we're serving the right audience. And it really came from an idea of something needs to change. And so, Mark, when we started talking about this, what was your thought initially? Because I know you were thinking about doing a mastermind on your own.
Yeah, I was like already planning it at the end of the academy completion is week 6 is all about community and all about the mastermind and the power of the collective of the group and really tapping into the group as a whole and how powerful that is to level up your life and your business. And you and I, which I know we're going to get into in this episode, you and I got on this tangent around influencers and all of these people that are on Instagram and have podcasts and everyone's selling everything. And most of these people haven't done what they're selling, nor are they authentic with their communities around what's really going on. And that was kind of the spark that's led to this call and last month's call, and everything that we're doing is we've really started talking about what if we built a community of individuals that were heart-centered, that were seeking to give and knowing that the return was on the back end of the give, and really working with people on their messaging and their story. And like, everyone's selling what I'm about to say. How do you monetize a podcast? Well, I'll just let you know I've done that without being sleazy.
Yeah.
Like, in just really building a community that is centered around giving and also knows that there's levels to this stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy how to lose weight from a person who was overweight. I wouldn't buy how to do whatever, but unfortunately, like how to build a business with somebody who's never built a business, which that's even happening. Like, oh, how do I know business coaches and consultants. You and I were just talking about one who's never even built a business. They went and they got a training and they got a certificate. And then now they're like, okay, cool. I believe being a coach or somebody who facilitates a mastermind, I believe like that is given to you after you've already created the success. It's like the natural progression. It's not, oh, I paid $1,000 and now I'm a certified blah, blah, blah coach. It's just that, to me, that doesn't make sense. We started talking about how all of these people out here who have masterminds and so on and so forth, it's very ego-centric, ego-driven about them, not about the community. Their community is just the vehicle to make a ton of money, the vehicle to blow up their personality online, whatever the case may be. And we're talking everywhere from low-level Joe Schmoes like you and I up to freaking, I don't want to drop any names, but really big.
I thought you were gonna. Right,
I almost did, and I'll give you a hint as far as the fraud that's kind of in the world, and one person that I talk about very, very often. I look at somebody who wrote a book about how to be a man, and while he was writing this book and releasing it, he was cheating on his girlfriend the whole entire time. And so I look at that and I go, that's what's wrong with this world. And that breaks down to relationships, that breaks down to business, that breaks down to podcasting. That's the whole, so many freaking podcast coach now, right? And a number of people who've stolen my information and made it their business, even though they haven't implemented it. But that's really kind of when we got together, I was like, this dude's real. This dude's done it. And so we talked about last time why we're doing it for ourselves and together, but really it's for the people who want to join the community and people who want to join the mastermind, because we want to serve them, not ourselves. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me. And, to pour into a community is not something that I take lightly. And Justin knows that because he's a part of the Purpose Chasers community. Like I give above and beyond. I've actually gained a couple of clients in the academy because I jumped on a free call with them.
Right.
And actually 3 of them in the same week said, I've never seen anyone in any of these communities jump on a free call. And that's not to, for those of you listening, it's not like Justin and I are opening our schedules up to the world. We're not doing that. But at the same time, we are out to build a community where we bear it all we seek to pull every member of our community up. And one of the things that I don't think a lot of people understand is if you want to get to the next level, you got to pay to get there. You can't. In an influencer, that title is nothing more than money.
Yeah.
Right. It's nothing more than money spent. Right. Of full transparency, I'm a #1 best-selling author. I sold 64 books. 64 books.
#1.
Yeah. And I threw this joke at Justin last week. Of this woman in Japan wants me on her podcast. And, I was texting Justin as I was like vetting her to see if it was like a scammer or something real. It's real. She's launching a podcast. She's an influencer in Japan and da-da-da-da-da. And I sent Justin this joke text and I said, well, now I can say I'm an international speaker. Like it's just this fraudulent smoke and mirrors kind of environment, the influencer space. And let me give you another one. How to make six figures off your podcast. I hate this. Do you know how many numbers are in 6 figures?
Yeah.
Like 1 million numbers. Just say you made $100,000.
Well, and to take it a step further, the people selling those courses have not made 6 figures off of their podcast. I guarantee you they've lost money on their podcast. Like, I would say I've done deeper dives in the podcast space, more deeper dives than most, maybe not all. There's plenty of people who know more than me, and I'm never going to say I know the most. But I've done a lot of deep dives, and I understand the space a lot more than most people. And the reality is 80% of podcasts are doing less than 100 downloads. But how many people are saying their podcast is incredible? Think about that. 80% of podcasts are doing less than 100 downloads an episode, and they're all talking about how great they are, and they've made all this money. It's not the reality. They might have a 6-figure business, but it's not tied to their podcast.
I want to share this. Let me share this just for full transparency. So I'm going to show it. If you're watching the video, you can see that is a $29,000 deposit the month that I relaunched the podcast and launched the academy into my bank. But I don't gloat about it, right? So it's the individuals in this space that are gloating are generally, like Justin said, are the ones that are not actually doing it. They're just trying to sell you on how to do it. Follow me, right, so I can do the thing while you pay me to show you how I'm about to do the thing.
Yeah. And like, it's funny because we can literally sit around and rant about this for hours, but like there's somebody who has claimed for probably 5 years now that they were a 7-figure entrepreneur. I was talking to somebody else on the phone on the back end, and they let it slip. Oh yeah, this will be the first year they clear 7 figures. They've been saying for 5 years they've been a 7-figure entrepreneur. Clearly, the spaces that we are in a complete bullshit. And I think you and I got together and we're like, we need to stop this in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's stopping it for our small pocket of people who pay attention to us, or stopping it for the world and changing the game from the idea that like it's time for these people to stop selling bullshit and start being real. And we want to do this for the everyday person because there are legit masterminds. I mean, we know people who are in them. They were just in them this weekend, right? But not everybody can get in there. Not everybody can be a part of that. So we want to take that realness and that legit opportunity for people to level up their purpose and give it to and make it affordable and make it entry level for every single person so we can really help them get to the next level. Because I'm tired of it, man. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm just so tired of seeing all the crap that's out there right now. And I know that you feel the same way. And this whole term influencer, it's hard not to say it because it's just such a catchy term. But there's a lot of BS, quote unquote, influencers out there that we're all buying into. And I did, and guilty as charged, man. Like for a long time, I bought into it until somebody ripped the curtain open for me. And hopefully part of this mastermind, we can do that for people as well. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I plan to. And just there's the man who spoke at a mastermind that I joined, which was, I think, was it 10 or 15 grand buy-in for the year? And this dude spoke on stage and he had like 3 billion views. And I heard from somebody who was close with him that he had made $20,000 that year. And it was just like, what are you doing? But not that it's about money, but the reason why we're starting this is to, cultivate an environment of heart-centered individuals, and for Justin and I to work with you side by side, not like leading from the front. Like, we want to be with you to show you that if you have a purpose, you can monetize that and you don't need to spend. I have two people right now in the academy, both of which have spent in excess of $10,000, $20,000 on masterminds, coaching programs, and events, selling them on something that didn't work.
Yeah.
Right. And the only thing that's going to work is if you get connected to your heart and you take action. That's it.
Yeah. It's funny. And part of the reason I'm even diving into this, and people have said to me all the time, you should get into the mastermind space, do online courses, all of these things. And you had said something to me that kind of resonated with me. And first of all, and I'll say this because this is like our complaint episode. I didn't get into it because I was so sick of people talking about ClickFunnels and my online course that's $29, which I know would drip into the $7,000 thing, all that stuff, right? I was just sick of it. I felt like it was icky because of the types of people doing it. And I was like, I didn't want to do that. And you and I had a conversation about, all this stuff and like, what are you building out? And me, like I've got my business, I speak, and then I have my event, and that's my three main streams of income. And I look at my event. I was like, yeah, man, that was the end goal. And you said to me, you said, you're doing a disservice to people that are coming to your event by not giving more. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, look, an event's amazing. It's impactful. It's needed. You need to go there to get the inspiration and the motivation and the learning tools and all these things. But then what about implementation? And so for me, it became a no-brainer and fell into the sequence of my authentic self to be able to give in this manner. And it became unicky. Does that make sense? Like it became unicky for me to go in there and be like, okay, now I'm ready to serve on a larger level and a deeper level with individuals that want it. And so I think coming from that standpoint in this mastermind, on facilitating it and doing all those things, I'm excited about it because I've always wanted to generate that thing that's affordable for everybody. Because before I started making money, I couldn't get in those rooms, and I wanted to learn, and I didn't really know how. And so I'm just excited about the authentic way this kind of came about, and the fact that it's the anti bullshit that's out there right now. Because I'm just tired. I was tired of it, man. And so I was tapping out of the online space because of that. And so here we are now, man, 2020, coming in strong with the Purpose and Movement Mastermind. And I'm just excited about really giving legit stuff to the people in the group and not worrying about the ego and not worrying about what it does for me. I mean, the last time we did this, you read essentially the credo for the mastermind, and it's exactly that. And that's exactly authentically who you are and who I am. I mean, you've helped me exponentially since we've met. And you've never asked for a thing in return. And that's kind of what we're going to be bringing to the table for these individuals, which I'm freaking excited about, because I'm just so tired of the space, man. I really, really am. But I'm excited to see people like Anthony Trucks, who's also legit, blow up and deserve that success as well, so maybe it's happening, and maybe we're just a part of this mess as we push it forward into greatness,
And I think that's the main point of this mastermind, and the main point of this, one of the main points of this episode is that, if we want to really make a difference, we need to be a part of the change. And it's the same thing that I said to you on that call and I didn't even know I impacted you on that call. I say that to a bunch of people, but if you don't provide the next level, some snake is going to. Somebody's running ads right now that somebody listening to this podcast is going to click on, and they're going to join their program, and they're going to pay $5,000, $10,000 for that program, and they're going to come out the other side wishing that they had something more, right? That's why this
or their $10,000 back.
Yeah, or their 10 grand back. That's why we're creating this mastermind. We want to cultivate an environment where anyone can have access to it and anyone can fulfill on what it is they're out to achieve in this life inside of this community, while pulling everyone with us. When we pull each other up, we all reach the stars, right?
Yeah. And in comparison, like I know you've been a part of masterminds as well as I have. Like, what are we going to bring to the table that's different than them, that's truly going to set us apart when we are able to help these people?
So one of the things that you and I have talked about is, like, I don't want to be seen as the person at the top, right? Like, yes, maybe I've done a little more work than you. Maybe Justin's done a little more work than you. Justin's done a little more work than me, like in some areas, and I've done more than him in others. But like, to just be a member of the community, as well as bringing content to the community. I don't want to come off as holier than thou, and I never want you to be like, why am I paying this jerk money? Never. Right. And it's just teaching the philosophies that Justin and I navigate by. And if we do that right, we are going to build an epic community. Yeah, that's the thing. Full transparency. And I'm very transparent with, like, if I'll use the Academy as an example, right? So the Academy, and they're like, well, I told them in the beginning, I'm like, I'm not paying for marketing. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, as I grow the Purpose Chasers Academy, I'm not paying for marketing. You're going to be my marketing. They're like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? This was the first call that I had with them. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you'll see. You're going to want to share with people what's going on with you inside the Academy. I'm so confident in the work that I've created, the content that I've created. And after week 2, they're like, oh, we get it. And they're posting all, I mean, ask Justin, they're posting all in the group all the time. And just like full transparency, you're going to get us every single call, not like we're up here, you're down there. I never want that ever. I never want to be a part of a group like that again.
So I'll say 2 things to that, because you had said a lot, which was super impactful. You know, I gave a talk out in LA a couple of months ago, and I talked about how I don't look at people as above or below me. I look at it as, how can I help them? Like, you know, those graphics of like people reaching down and saying, how can I help you down there? You know, how can I help lift you up? I look at everybody and go, how can I help you, period? How can I help you level up? How can I help you, you know, go to that next tier that you want to be at, whether you're already quote unquote above me or below me? I don't look at it as that whatsoever. That's one thing. And, you know, the second thing is, that's what I want to bring, you know, to this mastermind. And then instead of us showing how much money we spent on ads versus how much money we made that month, which people share that stuff all the time on Facebook, try and get people in. What I want to share is the testimonies of the people that we've helped, who are then posting about it and saying, you guys need to join. I'd much rather have that as the driving factor. And how do we do that? We do that by giving. We do that by giving to whatever your purpose is. It's not about my purpose. It's not about Mark's purpose. It's about your purpose in the group. And that's the difference about our mastermind versus somebody else's mastermind. The bullshit that we're talking about is that those masterminds are all about the person at the head of the table, whereas this mastermind is all about you. And I'm excited about it. So we're opening the doors. We're starting. We're diving in. Like, we are literally a couple days away from starting this thing. So if you guys want to get on that waiting list right before, or you're already listening after we've launched, go to purposeandmovement.com and get on that list or sign up. It's free. Guys, come in for 30 days. Come see what we're all about. You know, we're going to come back in a month and we're going to do deep dives on what we feel purpose really is and what movement really is. And I'm excited about that conversation, because that's what we're going to bring to you guys. So we can't wait to see you guys in the group.